Happy Monday. I have a lot of trolls on this app. There are a lot of people on this app who hate me for various reasons. Some of them are very well founded. Some of those trolls are very creative. This one is not. Username Hawk is Gay, who is following zero accounts, has zero followers and zero likes, chimed in to say that Greg Bovino, the 5 foot tall little Nazi who runs Customs and Border Patrol, is a better man than I am. And, but whatever. I wanted to highlight a couple things here. First of all, this person thinks about me and gay sex so much that he went in and created an entire profile using the username Hawk is Gay. And I'm not gay, not that it matters. But you know, I lived in San Francisco for almost 25 years, and I have an absolute slew of gay friends and lesbian friends and bisexual friends and trans friends, because those communities are very strong in San Francisco and in the Bay Area. And I'm a better person for it, for having those friendships. But white guys in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and 50s, and 60s, and 70s, that's their first go-to insult when they insult another man who does not support Donald Trump. The first thing, right off the tip of their tongue, you're gay. That's gay. You're gay. Or they ask a question about your boyfriend, you know, things along those lines. Again, I have a lot of gay friends. Most of my gay friends who are gay don't think about gay sex as often as white men who support Donald Trump do. And it's at the front of their brain 24/7, man. It is at the front of their brain 24/7. And so, you know, and this has been borne out by things like what happened a year and a half ago at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, when thousands of straight, white, Republican, evangelical, Christian men, family values, Bible thumping type of real American alpha male, white, straight Republican men, immediately when they landed in Milwaukee, they flooded the gay hookup app Grindr with so many headless, shirtless torso photos looking for men to have gay sex with that they crashed Grindr. And Grindr reported that, you know, that we had an outage. We had an outage in Milwaukee during the Republican National Convention because the city was flooded with closeted, repressed, gay, Republican, evangelical white men. And, you know, I've heard Don Lemon talk about this too, the former CNN host. He's black and he's gay. And one of his buddies who is not gay invited him to a Republican event one time, if I'm recalling this story correctly. And Don was like, dude, he's like, yeah, I'll go with you. I'll go with you just to show what those events are like for me. Because all of these Republican men hit on him the whole time he was there. And so he went with his buddy, and by the end, and that's exactly what happened. And by the end of the evening, his buddy was just like, holy shit, dude, you weren't kidding. And he's like, I told you, they're all gay. They are all closeted gay men. So it's like, you know, They're either obsessed with gay sex or, they're envious of the things that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were allegedly engaged in with children. So it's just, I feel confident at this point in stating, pretty uniformly, that, just the same way that, I said this when we got those first couple of document dumps from the Epstein file in the second half of December. After reading through a lot of that stuff, I was just like, if you're a white guy and you're worth more than $100 million, my starting presumption relative to you is that you are a gigantic pervert and that you are into all kinds of illegal, abusive, sexual things. That's the starting point. That's my presumption. That is what I believe about you once I have ascertained just that small piece of information that you're a white guy who's worth more than $100 million. The second immediate thought that now enters my mind is that you are an absolute depraved pervert sexually. And, but it's like, what do you do if you're a white guy and you're a Republican and you're not worth $100 million? Apparently, you consume as much pornography as possible that involves trans women. And every single time you get a day or two out of town away from the wife and kids, you immediately flood Grindr trying to find other men that you can have sex with. Because you don't have to be worth $100 million or $1 billion to hop on Grindr and get away with that. And so, my presumption for straight, white, Christian men, family values, who support Donald Trump, my presumption is that you're a closeted homosexual. That has just been borne out over and over and over and over again. And that's you guys doing that. That's not me doing anything. That's not me doing anything at all. It's the behavior that has repeated itself on enough occasions that it has become a pattern. Same thing with white guys that are worth more than $100 billion or $100 million and their perversions towards children. It's been demonstrated over and over and over and over again. And so it's like, anytime I encounter a straight white guy now who still, in January 26, still supports Donald Trump, my presumption, my starting point with you after having gained that one little piece of information is that you're an incredibly repressed, closeted homosexual, and that you engage in Grindr type activities at every given opportunity when you think that there's even the slightest chance that you'll be able to do that and get away with it. So, but anyway, thanks for commenting, Hawk is gay. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week and that you can spend time with your brain flooded with other things besides me and thoughts of gay sex. So have a great week.